Hi guys, welcome to today's tutorial. This is Andreas, and this image has been sent in by Steve Johnson. He was having some creative fun in his kitchen, I believe. He suspended two glasses, plastic glasses, with some what looks like fishing wire, and he's let them clash together. So you've had the fluids come out of the glass and shoot up in the air. And what we're going to do now with this particular image is we're going to have a quick look first, and we're going to see if we've got a nice sharp image to work with, which we do, and he's done a great job. This is a backlit image with one strobe, and we're going to take it from something like this to an image like this. So all you can see, the little differences you can see are the background. So you can see here it's the background's tied up. All these little droplets of spray which are going into the air are gone. The discoloration and the blotchiness on the background, that will also be gone. The distracting foreground here, that's been cleaned up. Still get some of your droplets, which we could get rid of, but I quite like the look of that. Now this particular edit that I've done is not your common way of doing it. Normally you would go here, you'd get your patch tool, and I would go around and get rid of each area individually. But I wanted to try and make this a different kind of tutorial. I wanted to try and find my own method of trying to do it as quick and simple as possible, which I think I have. Well, you'll have to let me know if it works or not. So here's how we're going to start. We've got our first layer, and we're going to press Ctrl J and copy it twice. Now once we've done that on our first layer, so the topmost layer which we've got, we are going to go to focus area. So we're going to go to select and focus area, and you're going to see now it's going to process and do something. These are all the settings that it's presets, its default settings, and you can see already here what it's tried to do. Now the way focus area works is it's picking what it believes is in focus, so it will pick the highest contrast edge of a subject and look at that whole image, and anything else that it doesn't believe is in focus it then knocks out. So what we'll do, we'll pick this brush tool and we're going to add to what we say is not in focus. So we're just going to do a little line here, and it should be telling now Photoshop that area here, so which hasn't worked this time. Maybe if I pick the right brush it might be useful. Here we go, you pick the minus, sorry, and it will take an area away. So we're going to keep going till it gets rid of all the grey. There you go, you can see it working a bit at a time, bit at a time. Come on Photoshop, you can do it. It does take a bit of time, so if you've got a slow computer or a slow laptop, just be patient with it. Now I think you might be quite surprised by how quick I managed to do this. Now if you want to, you can be picky. You can zoom all the way in and get rid of some of these other little areas here. There's another area here, look, little line, I think that's from the fishing line. There we go. You've got to love Photoshop sometimes. Right, so this is what we've done. We're going to click, well, we could do select and mask if we needed to. Okay, we're going to click select and mask. Now this is, so basically everything white we can see, everything black we can't. Now what I normally do is I'll go to decontaminate colors and smart radius, and it will just clean up that edge a bit here. Also you can see already in the glass here it's messed up a bit, so we're just going to brush with our brush so it doesn't get rid of that area. And you can see a few little areas here which Photoshop's decided to think's invisible. Right, there we go. We're going to do OK. Now it looks no different, But if you can see here, we have our image and we have our layer mask. So if I get rid of all these, that's exactly what we've got here now. We've got a perfect cutout of our two glasses and the water droplets. Now that we're going to save, and we're going to press Control on our mask so it highlights our cutout here. We're going to turn off that layer, open up the layer beneath it, and we're going to press Delete. Then we're going to press Control D to deselect. This piece of orange here, I'm just going to rub this out. There's no need for that. Yeah, use a bigger brush. Now, probably seems a bit crazy what I'm doing, but there's some sense in it. What we're going to do right now is going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and let it blur, and then do OK. We're going to press Control J, then Control T to go into transform mode, and then we're going to stretch. If you press Shift and Alt and stretch, it stretches it out uniformly, and we're going to do it like that. Now we're going to turn on our top layer, which we use to cut out our glass, and you can already see just from that it's already everything, all the distractions in the background have gone. So all you do is pick your two background layers, press Ctrl J again and again, and you can slowly start to see it fills in the gaps. The very bottom blurred layer, Ctrl J again, and Ctrl J again. So we've got all of these blurs. Each one of these blurs now are layering up just to fill in any patches. So I'll show you what's happening. So here was our first layer, then our second. You can see it fills out a bit more. Third, a bit more, you can see. Fourth, if you look in the edges, you can slowly start seeing it to fill up. Fifth, sixth, seventh. Now, if you have a close-up look, there's nothing wrong. It hasn't ruined the image. The edges are perfectly sharp. It hasn't deteriorated the image in any way. One little thing I can see is just here. So what we will do now is do a new layer, go to clone, and we'll just clone out that part there, and again make it look tidy. Now you can, if you wish, go around your image and clone out any other little bits you don't want. So if you don't like these little white specks here, you can just clone them out. Or patch tool. Now if you press Control, Shift, Alt and E, it will merge all the layers beneath it into one, because you can only use the patch tool on a flattened layer, and then we can just move the patch tool around like this and tidy it up. Now I'm not going to do the whole image because I think you get the gist, but it's just good that it's just a good practice really, because you may want to tidy up areas and mold this to look how you want it to look. So for Steve watching this will be down to your taste on how you'd like it to look. This is my own method and my own taste. So that's what you've got from there. Now this bit here I don't particularly like, so let me just group all of these. Control G. So here's our before and after. Before and after. Now I quite like this part of I think it must be the table or perspex, I'm not sure what he's worked on. So on our very bottom layer, the very first image that the very first layer at the bottom, create a new layer, go to your gradient tool, then pick from your foreground, your little eyedropper tool will come up, and pick somewhere along the crease here. Press OK. Background, try and pick the lightest point you can see in the foreground in the image. Press OK. And then basically what we're going to do let's actually put the opacity down so we can see. Yep, that's actually not too bad. You can see here, look. Yep, not too bad. Let's flip it around a bit. I'm just trying to line up now. You can see this line with the actual line in the image. Then we're going to take that, let's put the opacity all the way up. We're going to drag that to the very top. Well, I was going to until it went into the group. Come back here, thank you. Now what I did before, what we can do now is create another mask. So if you keep your finger on Alt, it will invert the mask, as you can see. Then with white, we can just brush that back in slightly. A bit too harsh, I think I was there. We turn the flow down with the brush. There we go. Now the only thing that we need to do, just to give it a bit more of a spice, we're going to create a hue saturation adjustment layer. And then we're just going to be picky and pick what we want. So we're going to pick what looks like oranges and reds, boost them up a bit. We can change the color if we need to, brighten them up. If you brighten, you see you lose some of the color here. So you can boost the saturation a bit more. Go into the yellows, do the same, give that a bit more of a boost there. Oh, I quite like that. Then what we're going to do is go to curves, bring the curves up. This is just to bring some of the brightness into the yellows, and then we press Control I to invert the mask. And then with white, just going to brush over just to lighten everything up a bit. Now we're almost done here. So there we go. Almost finished this. Now this is just preference. All this is just preference. Whatever it is you wish to do, whatever it is whatever your style is, make it become your own. We can add different colors if you want to. We could just go to hue saturation again. You can change to left to right. So let's say we wanted to add some more red. Press Control I to invert the mask. And then with white, again, we can just brush in that color to where we want it to be. And let's say, for example, you've changed your mind. You don't want that red anymore. You can just go back. There we go. Change it to green. Go back into our mask. Brush in. And again, tone it down if you wish. If you don't want it to be too bright. Change color again. It's all up to you. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It was nice. I know it seemed a bit complicated near the end, but the fundamentals and the very basic core was using the focus tool. So we go to select focus area to pinpoint what it is that is in focus in your shot. So for shots like this, where you know the background is quite plain, Photoshop does a great job. And then it's just separating the focused area out of your image and then just blurring the background.